That Great Business Show. Winner, highly commended award. Irish Podcast Awards.
Welcome to episode 198 of That Great Business Show, where we put the great into business tips, insights and opportunities. And that is on every episode. We're the perfect length for your 5K walk, or you can also hear us on board Aer Lingus Long Haul, where we are their proud podcast partners. I'm Conal O'Mora and Fáilte. So we're back to more regular issues following on from our 3 in a row with Paddy Mead, former CEO at Bonhams Worldwide. That's one of the world's greatest auction houses, who told you everything you ever wanted to know about auctions but were afraid to ask. Now, on to episode 198. We're having a hugely successful Irish company in the construction industry that is coming back to Ireland. And we'll explain. And a woman who started her worldwide business from her kitchen table in Cahersiveen, County Kerry. In business, controlling costs is essential. That includes your business fleet's fuel costs. Maxall, a family-owned business since 1920, are big supporters of That Great Business Show. Maxall fuel cards offer tailored solutions for transport fleets of all sizes, delivering efficient fuel cost management for your business at over 700 service stations nationwide. The Maxall dedicated fuel card team wants to hear from you at maxall.ie/fuel cards. Some of you of a certain age may know a song called What Made Milwaukee Famous. It was Schlitz beer. If you sang the same song about Glencar in County Kerry, you might well say, well, it was the Healy Rays. But you'd be wrong. Glencar, a company based in the UK by a founder from the tiny Kerry town, is actually one of Britain's most successful privately owned contractors, with revenues above €500 million, and that is not bad for a company that is not yet 8 years old. And in a lovely twist, they're heading home, setting up shop back in Ireland, having won some major contracts here. Rory McGillycuddy is Country Director Ireland for Glencar Construction, and he joins me now in studio. Rory, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thank you, Conal. Thank you.
What a business. 8 years old. €500 million in turnover. Now, we all agree, turnover is vanity, profits sanity. So I presume you're profitable to boot as well.
Yes, we are. We're a profitable company, and this year will be our best year to date. I suppose, look, the industry went through a bit of a tough times. There's a few construction companies and subcontractors went into a bit of difficulty in the last year.
Is this in the UK now?
In the UK, yeah. So, and we held our own, and we consolidated there, and we're doing very well. And it's going to be a very good year for Glencar this year, and also with Ireland as well. That we're doing quite well here as well for. To set up here. We're on our second job here at the moment, progressing well with that. And we have a very few good things, pricing a few good jobs, and the future is bright as well here in Ireland for us.
And the two big jobs that you're talking about, one is with IKEA, or they prefer to call it IKEA, and the other one is?
The other one is PRL Logistics. And what they are is the IKEA one is the central distribution centre. So it's a 287,000 square foot warehouse. And at the moment...
Now, you slow down there, because that is a big number. Yes. That's huge.
Yeah. It's
vast. How many football pitches? I hate even drawing comparisons with football pitches, but it's huge.
It would be 4 full-size GA pitches,
yeah.
I think is what it is. What it is IKEA at the moment here now is when you order something, it takes 6 days in Ireland. And when this place is up fully operational, your orders will be 3 days. So
there is a little bit of a backstory as to how you managed to be so good in this area, because there's a family history in the UK. Am I right?
Yes, I suppose, the company Glencar was founded by Eithne McGillycuddy, my cousin, and Chris Cleves. They were both senior directors with McLaren Construction, and they were in the UK, and they just saw that it was a profitable, very good business, a fast turnover business, and they decided to set up go out on their own, and with the guidance as well of our chairman, Pat McGillycuddy, Eddie's dad. He would be well known in the industry from his days in Gaisley Properties. He was the CEO of Gaisley Properties.
And this again is in the UK. So this lad, your uncle,
yes,
was
would have been worldwide.
Huge player.
Yes,
out of Glencar.
Yes, out of Glencar.
And the Healy Rays think that they play a big game. No, they don't. What a place. I'm fascinated by towns or villages. Glencar. How many people live in Glencar?
Few hundred, it wouldn't be. It's a pity. It's a great, beautiful location. And I suppose it's right in the centre of Kerry, and the ring, it kind of gets bypassed because the ring of Kerry goes around it. There should be a road going through it, or good guidance.
Oh, Jay, spoken like a developer, a road going through it. Don't ever say that. Bring business back to there, but keep it gorgeous as it is. There's another place in Mayo. Did you ever come across Bohola? Bohola had more millionaires per square mile. Now, it isn't that square mile, but there must be something in the water in Glencar that has created people who have this entrepreneurial attitude. You suffer from it. You are infected with it.
Yes, I suppose. Yeah, look, I suppose we've the Glencar now. We've a lot of it's a young team, and we would say young people.
And they all called McGillycuddy.
There's a good few McGillycuddys in the business, and a few Murphys from the other side of the family as well. So they like to help the family and help locals. And I suppose like what they say here is like a lot of the young people here in Kerry have charisma, and they have a great work ethic as well. And that's why
I'm going to stop you about the work ethic.
Few.
My dad, you won't know this, but my dad was from Kerry, and he really, to his soul, believed that there was this work ethic in Kerry, that it was a different entrepreneurial attitude. True?
Yes, yeah, definitely. We see it. I suppose people coming from farming backgrounds and just, I suppose, a bit tougher than things, that they've had to work harder, and they bring it in through to their career as well. And that's what we see. We see is the country people are always great workers, and especially for site people, construction people as well, because they're used to hard work. And I suppose in our game, you start off on site and you work your way up to management side of things. And I think the good work ethic, then you need a good work ethic as well, because construction generally is long hours in the early days. And that's what's turning a bit of people off at the moment.
You don't look like a farmer.
Rewarding. I do a bit of farming myself. Yes. With my uncle.
You look more a gentleman farmer, I'd say.
Well, a bit of that, yeah.
So what are you going to do with Glencar in Ireland? Because you are now the boss in Ireland of Glencar.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, look, the journey, Glencar, it's been an amazing journey from 2016 when Eddie and Chris started the business off. Then they grew the business. They took a lot of good people from guys that they would have worked throughout their careers.
Were they hiring here?
We are hiring here as well, yeah.
I'd say you are hiring here, but you're going to find it very difficult because nobody can find anybody to work. Anybody with a trade at the moment names their own price. True or false?
That is true, yeah. But I suppose we are a management contractor. And so it would be our subcontractors are employing the actual direct trade. So we are employing more of the companies.
You don't like to get your hands dirty. So there you are telling me that you're out there on the site building. No, you're not.
We've done it before.
You're in the office.
We've done it in the early days. But we have some Glencar people that are working here for us in Ireland and Glencar people in the UK. And the guys in the UK they're working the Glencar way, getting the experience and the expertise over in there, and they will want to come back eventually and settle down. And we've guys from the west of Ireland as well. So we are we've over 300 staff in the UK, our team members in the UK, and we have 15 here and growing, and we're actively recruiting at the moment because we have a good few things in the pipeline. So
what do you need? What kinds of skills?
Okay, well, what we're looking at is commercial people, estimating, quantity surveying, estimating people, and then construction managers, project managers. That's they're the main people we have.
Did you see my eyebrow going up there? I mean, come on, you're not going to get them, are you? Every project manager in the country must be employed at this stage.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So what are you going to do? Double their wages? Is that what you told me?
It's we've talking to recruitment agencies and talking to different people. It is difficult at the moment, but I suppose we have an office here in the RDI Hub, and we also have an office in City West. So if we employ an estimator, they could either be based in Kerry or be based in Dublin and do a bit of travelling. So at least there's that bit of flexibility for the employee as well. So hopefully it will make it a bit easier attracting people.
You sound very excited about the pipeline that you have full, from what you tell me, in Ireland. Come on, tell us, just quietly, who have you got? What have you got?
Okay, well, I suppose we have a lot of existing customers in the UK that, say, blue chip customers, and we would have probably over 75% repeat business. And some of those people want to do business in Ireland because they see Ireland as an emerging opportunity. It's a EU country, the language.
Brexit is what has brought you home, is it? Is
Correct. It? Yes.
I love this. This is kind of the reverse of Brexit.
It's been positive for us, yes. And of course, for our industry, it's been great because people have to create warehouses because the customs, they need to have more storage facilities. So, of course, I suppose our industry has benefited from Brexit. I know a lot of industries it's been a negative, but it's been good for us. But for some of our customers, like, say, the IKEA that we did our first job, we did just under 500,000 square foot for them in Dartford in London. And then they wanted to expand and do the same central distribution centre in Ireland. And we had done such a good job. They liked the way we worked. They liked the team, everything. And they asked us to do the job, and we negotiated the job with them here in Ireland.
And I'd say that you've said it a few times, the way we work. Now, obviously, you've got Kerry charm. But is there something else that you're doing that you do better than somebody else? I mean, it's a business. Well, obviously, I don't know it deep down, but surely one clever contractor is as good as another clever contractor, no?
Yeah. Look, we're a young company. We're a very young company. We think we're an innovative company.
How do you innovate, say, in the area in which you're in?
Okay, we're always looking for, like, we use systems like the Index and Dalux and so. And the one good thing
you've lost me there.
Their systems, cloud-based software platforms for health and safety, monitoring your health and safety, your environmental and quality tracking of your projects, and so reducing the paperwork and have everything really on tablets. But I suppose the great thing about being based, our Kerry office being based here in the RDI Hub, is they are here. There's research, development, innovation. It's a great place to be based. They promote us. It's a hive of creativity here, and everybody is looking at the future here. And there's plenty of talks on here, and we meet people, networking events, and you will always meet somebody that you will get some bit of nugget of information, or you may talk to somebody. So we find it brilliant.
Big believers in both networking and in mentoring in business, because you're dead right. When you're meeting with people, you might only get a game of golf out of them, but you might also get a bit of business out of them or something. Yeah. So go back to what I was asking earlier about what you are going to do with the business in Ireland. And are you 32 county or 26 county?
We've been 32 county. We're actually looking at a project in Belfast at the moment as well. It's at the early stages, just
because the reason I ask about the Northern Ireland is that I had a guy on the podcast about 6 odd episodes ago, and he was saying that because of Brexit, that he sees a lot of UK distribution centres being set up in Belfast because of the in and out of the EU. So is that something that you're smelling or seeing or noticing?
Definitely. I suppose, look, we follow the Construction Information Services website. It's about current jobs or jobs in early stages of planning and when they get granted. And you look at the corridor between Dublin and Belfast in the last probably two and a half years, it has got very, very busy with the warehousing and industrial logistics. Also, up the north as well, there's a lot of plannings in at the moment. And as I said, we're looking at a place, and we think it will be a good place because you can use the English supply chain, the Irish supply chain, and the local Northern Irish supply chain. So it will be a good place, and it's not too far for us to travel as well. So
the way the world is meant to work, basically,
yes, yeah,
using anybody and everybody, and no borders or nothing. Yeah, just get on with business the way we like it. So, what are you going to do with the business in Ireland? As in, what are you going to do with the business?
Well, my aim is to continue the great success story that our team has done in the UK.
No pressure then.
To date. Yeah, no pressure. So continue that great success story. And look, I suppose we're a multi-talented construction company. industrial logistics is our core business. We're doing data centers, life science. We're doing a data center in London.
You're not doing data centers now because the government won't allow them to be built.
No, I know that here in Ireland at the moment, we're actually doing one in London at the moment, and it's very, very interesting project I've been at. We're also into the life science, and it's an area we like. The core business here in Ireland will be industrial logistics, big warehouses. Then the areas we target is life science, because all the pharmaceutical companies are based here in Ireland or have some operation here in Ireland. So we see that as a great opportunity. Data centers, but there has its problems with the power side of things. So that will be another area.
I want to put you on the spot. Answer the critics. Would you keep building them? What do you think?
Well, I suppose the planning is restricting them, and there's a certain amount of your power has to be on site generated. So there might be gas combined cycle turbines, battery storage, the PVs, all have different types of power. So they have to create a certain percentage of the power themselves on site, and then they take it from the grid as well. So it will continue. I know the government are a bit slow at the moment with it, and there was an article in the Sunday Business Post about it, that the government need to step up on this side of things. But they need to. Yeah.
They do, because if you don't have data centers, they will go elsewhere. And if they go elsewhere, all of the IT companies will go elsewhere as well, as I understand it. Or maybe I've just bought into the propaganda. What do you think?
No, I do. I think you're right. They will go somewhere else. Look, it was proven with Apple when they were doing the one up in Athenry that the planning system here was too slow, and they went and built one in Europe. They did planning built quicker than they went through the planning system here in Ireland. So things have to change here. For companies, for the foreign direct investment, make it a bit easier for them coming in here.
Now, you have effectively piggybacked quite correctly and quite wisely on the business in the UK, and you are obviously going to build a decent business here. What do you do after that, if you want to expand? Can you look at the States, or do you go towards Europe, or?
Well, we have existing clients that are looking for us to go to Europe. There are Europe and Canada. Believe it or not, there's a client that wants us to go to Canada. But at the moment, what we're doing is the business grew rapidly, consolidated the core business in the UK, very steady. We're going very well at the moment there. And then it was just a great time to expand. And Ireland, of course, was the next step. Of course, being from Glencar as well was another attraction as well to bring us back here. And the group in time, yes, will go further. We have been asked to go to the Middle East, Australia. It's certain clients that want us. They like the way we work, and they want us to move with them. So that will be, in time, we will see. But we're concentrating on Ireland at the moment and make Ireland a great success. And then I'm sure in another...
How long would it take you to make Ireland a great success?
I would say give it another year. Things can be slow.
Yeah, of course.
But look, it has its challenges coming back here to Ireland as well, because we are an Irish company coming back to Ireland. We don't want to be seen as an English company coming in here. We want to be seen as an Irish company. We do try and employ local people. We want a local workforce. Our supply chain wanted to be local as well. And yes, we will bring in some supply chain from the UK or further field if we have to. But our main aim is to support Ireland, support jobs here, and support businesses here. And that's our core business.
And one crowd that you're not supporting are the banks, because you've no borrowings, which is very, very clever, very wise and very healthy. Where does that bring you longer term? If you do need to expand, you do need some form of capital. And any talks around the board table of an IPO or something like that?
No. Look, I suppose we're in a good position. And as I said, look, there are...
That's a Kerry answer. I'm in a good position. Do you mean that you're making very healthy profits?
We grew rapidly, and we spent a lot of money on systems and employing people. We employ people and train them up before we get the jobs. We don't react. So what we try and do is do that. So we did spend a lot of money setting up systems, expanding the business, and of course, expanding into the data center world costs a lot of money before you get a job going. expanding here
Why
to
is
Ireland.
that? Why would you spend money before you get the job?
Well, we get the expertise in. You need to get the expertise, and you need to get the good guys that have the experience in like the data center world or the life science side of things. So we employ them. Then there's business development before you get the job, and then there's takes time to get.
It's a bit of a pipeline. How many years does that take? You've hired them on a Tuesday, and you don't get anything for probably 2 years later.
Well, no, not quite 2 years. It might be up to a year or so before you get the first.
So you're
job.
carrying them for a year.
Yeah. So we've spent a lot of money investing in that. So we know we've grown the business that way now, and we've expanded into Ireland, the data centre and the life science. They were the three areas from industrial logistics. One other area where we're expanding at the moment as well is ports. We're doing work in the UK for Peel's Ports. We've done a few jobs in Liverpool for them. We're in talks with another port company in the UK, and we also see it as an opportunity here in Ireland as the next biggest civil engineering boom will be the ports with all the offshore licenses that have been granted there for the wind turbines and so on.
So you could choose from Foynes, where they're going to put some wind turbines, I think.
Spending a lot of money there.
Or you could go up to Balbriggan and build for Johnny Ronan, where he wants to bring Dublin Port. Greenore, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, Greenore, Breamore, Waterford. They're all the ports they will be spending money in all the ports to support all the offshore.
You know that you're salivating.
So we see that as another opportunity as well here in Ireland. Film studios is another area.
This is interesting, yeah.
That with the tax breaks, there's a lot of film studios. We're actually currently doing a film studio in London, and we've done a previous one in Soho in London as well.
Sorry, I had it on my notes. You've done Ealing, haven't you?
Yes, we're actually doing Ealing Studios.
And for those who don't know, if they don't know their old British movies, they were all shot in Ealing. All the great movies were made in Ealing.
Yeah.
And they're rebuilding it, is it? Or what are they doing?
Rebuilding it. So Ealing Studios is the oldest continually working film studio in the world. It dates back to the 1800s.
He's reading that from notes now. I'm telling you, he doesn't know that.
And it's been in the centre of the British film industry since 1902.
I think that's where that other famous Kerry man, Charlie Chaplin, was working originally before he went to Hollywood. There you go now. I think he started in Ealing.
But the film studios, they're actually, the steel is up at the moment, and it's designed, it's actually kind of an Art Deco design, and it's like an ocean liner, and they're doing it now with the white brick and sash windows to bring it back the way what it was, but it'll be a modern building of what it was really. So it's an interesting project, and that's April 25 that will be completed.
Not too far away, yeah.
So it's an interesting job.
So I don't know, did you get the note about the final question that we ask everybody? Did you get a note about who you would hire in a heartbeat?
Yes.
You did? Oh, thank God. Yes. A lot of people, because it's down at the bottom, never seem to read it. Yeah. So they scan it. So you do, I hope, have a hire in a heartbeat. Yeah. Who would you go for?
Okay, well, we just said...
And you can't, his name or her name cannot be McGillycuddy, because there's enough of them already in the business.
We have enough of them on the books. We're saying Tom Brady. We just think the NFL player, he's just a great example, playing at his level at, I think, 46 years of age. He's a great example to young people, and that's what...
Do you know who chose him before? I think I had Tony Smurfett of the Smurfett Corporation or Smurfett Group on, and that was his choice, I think. He loves his NFL, he told me. That is his utter relaxation. And I was presenting with Jamie Heaslip at the time, and both Jamie and Tony Smurfett had a great old chat about Tom Brady. And he seems to be an incredible guy, plus an incredible business person as well.
Yes, yeah. And just that's his great example of his...
Do you like your NFL, or did you just make that up yourself?
I know it was. We talked about it in the office, and
so you don't know him at all.
I would know of him. Yes, but I wouldn't be as detailed. One of the
what about a Kerry footballer? Paul Galvin, I've interviewed. Now, there is a very different brain. He is one of the cleverest people I've ever met, I'd say.
Yes, I would say very interesting. Great guy, turned teacher, turned businessman and entrepreneur, and very interesting. Great footballer. I've seen him play football many days.
I believe he was good, all right.
Yes, yeah.
And he didn't take no for an answer, I think.
No,
on the
even from the ref.
So Tom Brady, if you are listening, and of course he is, you are hired. And Rory McGillycuddy. And the McGillycuddy comes with a Y after the McGilly because that's the not posh McGillycuddys. The posh ones have an I, he was telling me earlier. Yeah. Rory McGillycuddy, thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show.
That Great Business Show.
Maxol, a family-owned business since 1920, launched Homegrown at Maxol to support local growing businesses by distributing their product across the Maxol network in the Republic of Ireland. In partnership with Champion Green, Maxol invites local SMEs and startups in the food and drink sector to enter year 2 of the Homegrown at Maxol programme. Listen back to previous winners on episode 153 of That Great Business Show. And for more details, see maxol.ie/homegrown.
De facto, the revolutionary shaving oil, changing the face of shaving. For the smoothest shave of your life, just add water. No more lathering up or cleaning up afterward. Just add a few drops of water and you're ready to go. De facto's blend of all natural oils hydrates and protects your skin. Perfect for all skin types and lasts so much longer than traditional foams or gels. De facto, a shaving revolution. Just add water. Available from selected pharmacies and from defactoshave.com.
That Great Business Show. Winner, highly commended award. Irish Podcast Awards.
These are the true-to-life kind of stories that we just love. Take 2 very passionate South African nutritionists who happened to visit Ireland. Mix them with one powerhouse woman entrepreneur who they met that time, and that was 20 years ago. Identify the value of their trace mineral injections for cattle, start the business from a small room in a home in Carrowsaveen, South Kerry, and that business, Multimin, expanded to a back garden in 2013 and now has 10 employees here at the RDI Hub in Killorglin in Kerry. But there's so much more to the story. So let's hear it from the woman herself, Eithne O'Leary, MD of Warburton Technology. Eithne, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thanks, Connell. Nice to be here with you.
You are very shy about your business. I am blown away about the layers and layers of what you have managed to achieve. Where did you meet these 2 South Africans? How did you meet these 2 South Africans? What was it about the 2 South Africans you said, hang on, there's something in this?
Yeah, so Gavin Mitchell and Willie Smith are, as you mentioned, 2 very passionate animal health nutritionists. And they came up with a concept and idea in South Africa of how they might manage by an injection to supplement animals with trace minerals. And they really wanted to build a global brand and build a global company. So they came to Ireland looking for some partners, and we joined forces.
And why Ireland? I mean, is it just because we have a few cattle, or?
Particularly, I suppose, the vet pharma business is pharma in general is well established here. And at the time, in order to sort of be able to supply your products to the US and Europe and beyond, you needed a certain quality of manufacturing site. And we had that in Ireland. And interestingly, we had it here in Kerry. So.
But you started your business now. You were not making the product, but you started it from your kitchen table. Correct? Is that true now? Well, we're actually from the kitchen table, yes?
Well, what happened essentially was I met with Gavin and Willie, and I joined forces with them. I had a meeting with them in Dublin Airport. And
who had arranged that? I mean, again, give me the backstory.
So I guess a bit of the backstory. When I came to Kerry first, I'm a vet originally. And
that helps.
I worked in small animal practice in the practice in Carrowsaveen. And at that time, dogs and cats wasn't a huge demand. So I also started to work out in Ballinskelligs at a little startup company called Ballinskelligs Vet Products. And at the time, that was 6-7 employees. And the original meeting with Gavin and Willie came through that. I'd worked there for 10 years. And a year or so after leaving there, they sort of made a connection and said, listen, will you meet us? We really want to take this concept and we want to take it to a world stage. They had done a lot of groundwork in South Africa initially. They'd begun kind of, leads in the US. And I suppose we essentially joined forces. I started with them in Feb of 2005. And as you say, kind of used the room in my house to start. And we started looking initially at Australia and New Zealand in particular, and to bring any kind of veterinary drug to market, there's a lot of work and you have to do a lot of studies and a lot of outsourcing. So we partnered with BVP, the facility in the Gaeltacht, to make the product. And then we got a number of outside research labs to execute different trials. And all of that, we began that coordination from Carsavine. And I suppose my side of the business was very much the R&D, the regulatory, the patent work. So we took the core kind of concept and we innovated on it. We optimized, we rebalanced, we stabilized the formulation, and we created, a series of international patents, which really helped us to establish the brand.
As you do, the way you gloss over that, I'm going to just reel you back a wee bit, because there's one other thing about all of this. You were practicing as a vet, correct?
Correct, yes.
You were doing all of this research as well.
Yes.
And, sorry, I'm not finished, because there's another part. Were there other small people involved as well? As in, you have 5 children, I think, yeah?
I do, yes.
So, talk about balancing. Talk about, that's why I called you, and you were very reluctant that I used the word a powerhouse entrepreneur, because you don't see yourself that. It's curious, isn't it? You feel, is it an imposter?
Not particularly, but I wouldn't say I'm unduly creative. I credit Gavin and Willie very much with that.
But you drove the thing.
Yes. I suppose thereafter, the all of the work you have to do, all of the trials and the innovations. I suppose that's, the lovely thing about Kerry. When I came down here initially, I followed love. My husband, Mike, was a vet. He and his dad in practice in Carsavine. And we were lucky enough to have our children really young. And I suppose for me, continuing to work was also something that if it could happen was good for me. And we were very much supported by my parents-in-law and others. So it was lovely. I suppose when you look back in 2005, it was kind of the early remote work idea and the work from home idea. And I was just lucky enough that opportunity presented in the way it did, because it allowed us to start and to kind of work, I suppose, the role around the family as well, which was really good.
But back then, and it is back then, that's 20 years ago.
Yes.
Technology was not a big thing back then. So how were you communicating with the rest of the world?
Yeah, it was
carrier pigeon or something.
No, it was fate that intervened, because there was a one-off initiative to extend fibre broadband within a mile radius of Carsavine. And I was literally...
you remind me, that is,
Yeah, so I was literally at the edge of that. I live in Renard, and I was at the edge of that. So all of the whole Skype technology we started with, and really it was from there that we were able to create, an awful lot of the strategic relationships, because I suppose the business is very interesting in that it's a small core group of people. Even today, there's 10, I suppose, here at the hub, although in recent years we've joined and become a much bigger organisation with Axiota Animal Health. But at the original sort of stages, it was about building strategic relationships in order to make sure all of the tasks that you need to bring a product to market could happen. And I suppose that side of the business, the manufacturing, the supply, the regulatory, the licensing, the clinical trials, the patents, that was the piece really that the team in Kerry really helped focus on.
But there are other companies which might be a little bit bigger, like Pfizer and others, who... I won't say they're in the same space, but you know what I'm talking about. They're vast. And you're managing to do it with a small, hardcore team.
Yeah, and I think it's huge testament to the team and to the people, that we have involved. And we have a lovely multicultural team here at the office in Kerry. Our general manager, Moises, is Spanish. And we have 3 Indian pharmacy graduates in the team. And we're celebrating big time because last week our Multimin 90 product got formal FDA approval, and that's a huge achievement, as you say.
It's a huge achievement, team. But in terms of pounds, shillings and pence going back a few years, or in terms of hard dollars, what will this mean? Is this really, really big?
Yeah, I think it puts the stamp of authenticity on the product. We, as I mentioned, the business, sort of 4 years ago, the business was sold to Payne Schwartz Partners, who are a US private equity group. And I suppose...
Why?
Yeah, because I suppose it had reached a point where particularly Gavin and Willie had reached a point where they were happy to kind of bow out a little. And also they saw kind of the value in a strategic investment to take the product and the concept more globally. And Paintsworth's partners are a leading private equity group, very much in the sustainable agriculture and nutrition space. And what we found over the 4 years since that change is, the investment and change has allowed the team here become much more focused. Now, I suppose my role and the reg team in particular, much more focused on innovation. So in that kind of 4 years, we've taken what were sort of 3-4 product licenses, and now we have licenses for the product in over 30 countries in the world. And we're actively coordinating the manufacture of the product from the BVP site in Ballinskelligs, and the exporting and shipping of it to over 20 countries now worldwide.
From Ireland?
From Ireland, yeah. All of the core bulk product is made here in Kerry, and then it is finished at various sites, one in the US, one in France. We buy all the raw materials from around the world. They come here to Kerry, and then the finished product is shipped out to various locations.
And go back to the private equity deal, because I'm positive when you started talking to advisors or mentors about private equity, to a person, I'm sure, they all said, keep away. But your experience has been different.
Yeah, no, our experience has been positive.
Did people tell you to keep away from private equity?
Not unduly, I have to say. And maybe, we I suppose, when we were looking at the opportunities, it kind of came in a circumstance through contacts, actually. So it's like a lot of things in life, the way the opening and opportunity came. I think, sometimes people talk a lot when you're in an early phase company, that you're looking for the first, big milestone, and then you're on to the second and the third, and the whole thing is grow. But I suppose we've also discussed, those early stages of a company are also really exciting times. And, there are times where it's nice to stop and celebrate. And sometimes you're maybe not celebrating an achievement, but you're celebrating a big effort to try and get something through, and I think I suppose the investment, the skills expertise that comes from, the investment with the private equity group, and particularly a group that has sort of a global imprint and all of that, I think, has been very additive to our business, because we've merged with a US-based company, also very innovative, called MS Biotech, and combined the two together into one platform under Axiota Animal Health. And there's been a lot of synergies and a lot of, I visited Kansas last week, and, the site where MS Biotech is based is rural Kansas, and yet, quite a lot of similarities to the Kerry location. So it's really, been a good journey and a very positive journey for the business. At
some stage, though, you must have, lain awake at night thinking, no, this is going to not go very well, and they're going to drown us out. Like we mentioned your 5 babies. This was the 6th baby.
Yeah, I guess work has always, and particularly Multimin, has literally been, a huge part. And there's been a lot of emotional attachment to it, and to the people who work in it, and to the contributions all of the employees over the years, have made. But I really think, the opportunities it has brought, have been positive. I suppose one of the things that, when you live in Kerry, you just are surrounded by such incredible natural beauty, which, really here at the RDI Hub, there's a lot about innovation and co-innovation. And I think you can't beat the value of what's obviously a spectacular building, but you're looking out on the McGillycuddy Reeks, and you can go off kayaking, up in Carroll Lake, and you can stop off in Ross Bay if you want to get in the water. And
this part of the podcast is brought to you by Tourism Ireland.
Well, more I'm making the point that the RDI Hub is about startups, but it's also about creativity. And I think the centre itself has a great niche to allow maybe R&D teams come here, spend a week or two here. It's an amazing location. It's got obviously a lot of mentorship and expertise, but it also offers, a lot in that creative space.
When you started 20 odd years ago, did you ever imagine that you just mentioned that you're in Kansas and that you're, I'm sure, all over the world, because the company is now all over the world. Did you ever imagine that you would have or be part of a company that is a multinational?
Yeah, I have to say I didn't. I sort of fell into business a little bit, more than anything else.
Actually, I'm going to pick you up on that, because people who are, say, in vets, they forget that they are in business. It is a business. You are an entrepreneur. Yes. So therefore you didn't fall into it because you were there. But it's actually growing from there and bringing all those skills, surely.
It is. And I suppose I sometimes think I did it in reverse, because I kind of fell into the business at BVP and grew in that business originally, and was very much learning by experience, and then went off sort of later on to do kind of a master's in business and kind of learn how it should have been done. so
and did that help?
I think it did help to give you a sense of maybe structure.
Did you learn anything that you said, I can do that much better this way, or whatever? In other words, could you have improved on your MBA? Could you have taught them?
I think when you start in small business, it's a fantastic platform to start in, because your HR, your marketing, your R&D, your sales, your finance, and your juggling. And that was part of
coffee maker. You left out the coffee maker.
True. We were very lucky in having Anne McMahon, who's been with us for 10 years, and Anne is the chief baker, and she brings the most delicious cakes for all the birthdays over the years. But yeah, I love the dynamic and the mix of small business. I love the fact that, 30 years later, when I started with BVP originally, there were 7 people. Today there's over 30 out in Ballinskelligs. It's an FDA approved facility for our product, as well as a lot of other accolades. And we've 10 jobs here, and they're all, high tech, good jobs in Kerry.
And you better give a shout out to it. They are Uderos backed, aren't they?
Correct. Uderos were huge. While I was there over the 10 years, Uderos were a major support. They came in, they helped us revamp the facility. They supported us with Tech Start grant aid when we got new graduates in, because you're running a pharma plant. You have a microbiologist, you have chemistry department, you have engineering, you have all that you need under one roof. And Uderos have been a terrific support at BVP, and it's lovely to see how that business has also flourished.
So the future, are you going to become the next Pfizer of moo cows and other farm animals, or is that the ambition? Would you have huge ambition now?
We do, because...
No, would you?
Personally as well, yes, I do.
You're all excited about this, aren't you?
Yeah, very much, because the MS Biotech technology, Lactipro, is also in this space of innovative solutions to help cattle thrive through periods of transition and stress. And we're in a whole space in intensive agriculture where there's, appropriately a lot of scrutiny on antibiotic use and attempting to reduce antibiotic use to avoid human resistance. And so both our Multimin technology and the Lactipro technology are in this space, and they're really in a space that helps cattle to optimize their performance with natural solutions. And I think in that respect, we're in the early phase of what this product range can mean internationally.
Around the board table, what's the chat? I mean, where are you seeing where you may be in another 5-10 years?
Yeah, there's a lot around. So we've gone into multiple markets in the last 2 years in entry phases. And we've a lot of work to do to establish the marketplace presence in those. They're both innovative concepts. So it takes work and effort. The old phrase we used to have was they're buckle to buckle conversations. You need to ensure vets and farmers see the value in the products. And when you're in anything new and innovative, there's an education piece around that. And I think that's an important piece for us.
And are you hawking yourself around the world to make sure that those buckled, you call them buckle to buckle? I haven't
Conversations.
Heard that term. Conversations. Are you making sure that they're happening, or is it, what's your role now?
Yeah, so my role now is more defined in the R&D injectable trace minerals centre.
So you can go back down to your kitchen and...
So we're here very much around the next generation product innovations, the the pharmaceutical studies, the clinical trials, the patents, and looking at all of that, as well as maintaining, when you have product licenses in 30 countries, there's a lot of work goes into ensuring they're also maintained.
And is that you?
The department here and the group here.
No, I mean, is that you?
Is that me in terms of
overseeing the whole shebang? I mean, that sounds like a lot of work.
It is. But we have a terrific team of people, and that's really.
But even if you are in Kerry, you're still on the same time zone as us on the East Coast.
Yes.
But you must. I mean, are you a 24-hour clock or something?
Well, we have the US piece of the equation in particular, and I guess you've got to be, amenable to the hours. So it's kind of a modified working day over that to make sure that you do meet all that sort of international. But I'm certainly not a sales one. So there's others in the organisation who very much have championed that, and I'm more in the...
How many hours a day are you working?
Yeah, it's always a good question. A lot, I guess. Particularly my youngest child left home 3 years ago, and that, I suppose, created a new space in life too. But I also have got better at sort of realising you need to stop and smell the roses.
What? So. Put a number on it. How many hours a week do you work?
Yeah, I probably am in the sort of maybe 50 to 60 hour kind of range, in terms
that's on an average week, is it?
Exactly.
So on the lack of unaverage or non-average week, you might be up at 80, are you?
Well, I certainly have tried to alter that in more recent years.
So you were doing that?
I was for a long time.
I try to remind people how busy people are, how hard people who run their own businesses work.
Exactly. It as you said, it's like the impact of maybe another child, and it is very much part of your life, and you're thinking about it when you're here, there, and everywhere, and you're obviously the mobile phone access, etc. All of that. And while it can be a disadvantage, I think for me in the scenario I was in, the whole set of technology was an enabler. It was an enabler to combine something and to create what we did in that way. So.
And you're lucky because you can be in one of the most beautiful places in the world and run a world business. I love it. There is a final question we ask everybody, and I hope you were told this. Maybe you weren't, but if you weren't, I'm going to put you in the spot anyway. Who would you hire in a heartbeat for your team? And it may be anybody, or it may be a few people. Is there somebody that you always said, oh God, I'd love to have them working with me?
Yeah, I did get a little bit of a heads up. So I was thinking over the weekend. And I think actually somebody I would love to have on the team is Dr. Tony Holohan. I really, years ago in Limerick, I debated against Tony when he was at the CBS. And he was, he was a man of very, very sharp wit and intellect then. And I think the way in which... Are
we talking about school debates here?
School debates.
Okay.
Go back to the mid-80s. But I think the way in which he coordinated what was such a complex issue, and in particular, his skill set at communicating that, I think if you're in a new space as we are in innovation, there is a real ability to take something complex and to break it down and to sort of share it in a good communication style. And I suppose when you read his recent book as well, there's a lot personal going on in his life at the time. And I think that ability, to carry what he did was quite something. So I think in our space, we need to convey the value add of our products. It's complex sometimes to explain that. And that sort of succinct communication style I'm a big fan of, and I suppose overall
I think I noted that he was recently hired again, so I don't think he's available, but
that's true.
But Tony, Dr. Tony, if you are around, there's a lady down in Kerry who'd love to have you on board, and she'll bring you to the big wide world. Eithne O'Leary, MD, Warburton Technology. Where's the word Warburton from? Or do you know anything at all about the history of that?
Yeah, it came originally from the South African kind of had a connection and a name that they chose initially. So that's how the company was named. Yeah, Warburton Technology.
There's, when I was doing the Leaving Cert, the book, the way you have to read a book, Portrait of a Lady, and I think there was a Lord Warburton in that. Maybe they borrowed it from that. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to show off a bit of cultural reference for you there. Eithne O'Leary, thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show.
It's all go, let Cursey know on thatgreatbusinessshow.com.
That Great Business Show.
De facto, the revolutionary shaving oil, changing the face of shaving. For the smoothest shave of your life, just add water. No more lathering up or cleaning up afterward. Just add a few drops of water and you're ready to go. De facto's blend of all natural oils hydrates and protects your skin. Perfect for all skin types and lasts so much longer than traditional foams or gels. De facto, a shaving revolution. Just add water. Available from selected pharmacies and from defactoshave.com.
And that's it for episode 198 of That Great Business Show. Great business insights and inspiration as always. Maxall, a family-owned business for over 100 years, advertised with us so that you can get the best tips and insights for your business. So return them the favour and sign up for their fuel card. It's great for your business. Do sign up for your own personal copy of the podcast as well at thatgreatbusinessshow.com. Share us, like us, and give us 5-star reviews. It really does help. And of course, like you, we are in business, so why not advertise with us? This episode was recorded at the Fexco-backed RDI Hub in Kerry, so my special thanks to Kerry McConnell for organising all of that. Later on, studio manager Peter Rice and post-production engineer Neil Horner will triple the treble and double the bass to ensure we remain the world's best-sounding business podcast. So for me, Conal Moran, buchas to you all, agus slán tamil.